We fully agree and acknowledge that there may be an excellent moral case for doing so, particularly given the barbarity of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. But we believe as well that there are many practical considerations in the economic and political space that make it hard to believe that isolating Russia would be an effective approach for the West. And I'm going to give three core reasons during this opening statement. So the first is that long-term political isolation of Russia and economic isolation is going to bring significant costs here at home for domestic politics in Europe and the United States. We have already seen this as the economic impacts of the Western sanctions are contributing to falling standards of living, adding to inflation, and have produced backlash against incumbents in elections in France, have produced turmoil in governments in Bulgaria and Estonia, and the far right has often been the benefit of these policies. So we believe that Western liberal values here at home may actually be seriously impacted by a strategy of economically containing Russia. A second point. Long-term isolation of Russia is also likely to be negative for domestic politics inside Russia. We've repeatedly seen over the years with sanctions, various studies have shown that long-term sanctions regimes strengthen incumbents, weaken civil society, and allow authoritarian leaders from Kim Jong-un to Fidel Castro to blame outsiders for their own poor mismanagement. And we see in the last few months that this is what is happening inside Russia. Sanctions appear to be strengthening Putin's grip on power, not weakening it. And then a final political argument, we believe that ending the isolation of Russia as it is right now will actually be essential to a viable and lasting peace agreement over Ukraine. If Russia has no stake in a peace agreement, if they are excluded from European security in the longer term, they're more likely to reoffend. And we only have to look at historical examples to see cases where this came true. Consider Germany at the end of World War I, where the Versailles Treaty imposed a punitive peace that helped to fuel the rise of a far-right movement, helped to cause another devastating war. But we also have positive examples of how to maximize containment and engagement together. Consider the Cold War. We saw leaders from Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher to others engage with the Soviet Union on key issues like arms control and international security, even as they contained them in other areas. So we believe that diplomatically isolating Russia, a more extreme policy than the one we pursued during the Cold War, is more likely to provoke backlash in this space. And so just to sort of sum up, it may be morally satisfying to isolate Russia, but policymakers have to consider the potential consequences of their actions. And the consequences of continued isolation of Russia after the war could be severe. Thank you.